Boris Johnson faced a tough grilling at Prime Minister's questions today over an alleged Christmas party in Downing Street last year during a period of national lockdown. The Prime Minister was forced to apologise after a video was leaked to British media that showed members of his staff laughing about the event and practising how to answer questions about it. Johnson said he was sickened by the video and would be taking action if anything was proven to have happened.
I have been repeatedly assured since these allegations emerged that there was no party and that no COVID rules were broken, and that is what I have been repeatedly assured. But I have asked the Cabinet Secretary to establish all the facts and to report back as soon as possible. And, Mr. Speaker, it goes without saying that if those rules were broken, then there will be disciplinary action for all those involved.
His answers didn't appear to satisfy the opposition Labour leader Keir Starmer, who said millions of people now think the Prime Minister is taking them for fools. He questioned Boris Johnson's moral authority in remaining in place as leader of the country.
Her Majesty the Queen sat alone when she marked the passing of the man she'd been married to for 73 years. Leadership, sacrifice, that's what gives leaders the moral authority to lead. Does the Prime Minister think he has the moral authority to lead and to ask the British people to stick to the rules?
Well, we can head to London now and join our reporter Tig Enright, who's at Westminster. Tig, Johnson's former aide, Allegra Stratton, has now resigned. We've heard the Prime Minister there apologising to Parliament, but facing a grilling by Keir Starmer. There have also been calls for his resignation. Did his answers at Prime Minister's questions satisfy anyone?
Hi, Alistair. It certainly doesn't feel like the end of the story. We heard him today apologising specifically for the video recording, which of course showed his staff laughing at questions during rehearsals about any press conferences surrounding this party, and he apologised for the impression it gave. But there was no apology for the party itself, which Boris Johnson, as you heard there, continued to insist did not happen, and he continued to insist that no COVID rules were indeed broken by his team last Christmas. Yes, this video does appear to suggest that a party did indeed happen, and some would say that its occurrence was confirmed by the resignation of his press advisor, former press advisor Allegra Stratton, who was recorded in that video. As we know, Westminster is a pretty leaky place. This story first broke a week ago in the newspapers, and it does appear to be gaining momentum rather than going away. After a series of pretty embarrassing leaks from the inner corridors of government here, it does appear there are some within the Johnson administration who would actually like to see him gone, and there is always the potential for more revelations. There are indeed also other rumours of further parties, including some rumours, it has to be said too, of parties within Boris Johnson's own apartment within Downing Street, and if those are confirmed or proven, then things get exceptionally tricky for him.
And what about the pandemic, Tig? What does this do as far as Boris Johnson's authority is concerned? Because he's now expected to ask the public to follow more restrictions.
Yeah, that's right. And you heard the leader of the opposition there, Keir Starmer, questioning Boris Johnson's moral authority, his leadership at this moment in time. The government here in England is expected in the next week or so to further tighten COVID restrictions, adding in measures which are already or have remained in place elsewhere, things like continuing to work from home, the wearing of masks in shops, or the checking of people's vaccine status to get access to places like restaurants or nightclubs. There are reports the government is considering stepping up COVID measures to battle the new Omicron variant. Some have argued that it's potentially a cynical move to try and move the news agenda on from this particular scandal, and indeed if he does pursue them, Boris Johnson is likely to face even more opposition from his own MPs, his own Conservative MPs, many of whom are some of the biggest critics of lockdown measures. And indeed, I'm sure if this does, the rules are tightened, there'll be many who say, will people indeed follow these rules if it has been shown that people within Boris Johnson's inner circle haven't been following them in the past?